Hi, I'm Kevin, and today I'm talking about some technical audio work I did in Unreal 5.1 using metasounds and the interaction items content that was free on the Unreal Marketplace for the month of November 2022. This asset pack is filled with all sorts of cool interactable items, and I decided to design some sounds for the safe in the level. Here's a short example. Since most of the interactability revolves around items physically moving, I decided to make most of my sounds function via colliders. There are three main parts to the safe: the dial, the lever, and the door. Each of these have different colored collider boxes to show clarity on what each collider box is affecting. First, I started with the dial. I set the dial up with separate collider boxes for each number, 0 to 9. I also added a collider for the current guest slot that's named audio check. The number colliders are attached to the static mesh, while the audio check collider is part of the default scene root. This leads to the number colliders rotating with the dial, while the audio check collider stays stationary. When a number collider collides with audio check, the main tick sound for the dial plays, and then the blueprint checks how far the player is from the dial. If the player is close enough, and the dial is within one digit of the correct answer in either direction, a special hint tick sound is triggered. There is then one more check to see if the dial value is equal to the correct number, and if it is, a final layer is added to the dial sound to tell the player that they have the right number. Next, let's look at the handle. The handle has three colliders: a handle audio collider connected to the handle's static mesh, and then two stop colliders, stop 1 and stop 2, tied to the scene root. When the player starts, a bool named stop 1 active is set to false. This stops the lever from accidentally making any collision sounds before it is intended to. When the handle leaves the stop 1 collider, the bool is set to true. When the handle starts moving, a new event is triggered to get the velocity of the mesh. The z value of the velocity is then multiplied by a -1 if it is a negative number, to make it a positive number for easier use. A swing sound is then played through a do once node if the handle is going at a certain velocity. So if you move the handle very, very slowly, it's possible to avoid the sound altogether. Going back to the stop 1 and stop 2, when either of these are collided with, a new event is called to reset the two do once. When the handle hits stop 2, the handle checks if the dial have the correct combination, and then plays either a locked or unlocked sound based on that information. Finally, there's the safe door. For this, I made a door detect collider that moves with the mesh, and three colliders that are stationary: close trigger for when the door closes, open trigger for when the door opens, and full open trigger for when the door is open as far as it can go. Most of the audio here is based on a collision check with the door detect collider. The blueprint goes through a series of branches to check what it is colliding with, and then plays different metasounds inputs. When the open trigger is hit, the door checks if a bool will let an open sound play, and then plays the audio for the door opening. It then sets this bool to false. When the full open trigger is collided with, the full open sound plays. When the door hits the hit close trigger, it plays the door slam sound and then resets the door open bool to true. I also made a similar feature to the handle swing for the door moan. This is set to play the moan sound when the door's X velocity is above a certain value. Most of my metasound setups cover all of the sounds from a certain object, but the door moan is separate from the door's main audio, so the moan can be positioned at the hinges of the safe. Thank you for taking time to watch this video. I hope you liked my sound.